there's like weddings and there's strippers and there's like really rich shit, but there's also like really eerie, like completely like opposite shit going on. And I kind of feel like it's me in city form. I get there and I can feel my blood start to change. I start driving into the city and I'm like, let's go. Like my eyes get all big and I'm like, whatever's about to happen is about to be nuts. Hey, what's up guys? It's Kehlani and this is Making the Album with Capital Buzz.
Hey Kehlani, welcome to Making the Album. Today we're going to be doing a track-by-track breakdown of your incredible genre-defying 4th studio album, Crash.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. And I'm glad to be able to do this because it's a lot that went into this process.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, going straight into track 1, GrooveTheory. Now, this kind of reminds me of Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody in terms of like how sonically ambitious it is, particularly the start, the intro, it's so psychedelic. You've spoken before about how you feel a bit boxed in by the R&B label.
Yeah.
Were you setting out to explore new sonic territory with this song?
Yeah, I definitely in general wanted to explore a new sonic territory with the entire album. Starting with this song I knew was ambitious because I was saying this is either going to make people really excited or it's going to completely turn them off and they're going to hate my stinking guts. But for the most part, people that I really appreciate musically and that I view to be very musically inclined were mind blown by the choice of this song. And especially being able to split it and making the first song a 2-part song was also a little ambitious, but I think we did a cool thing.
But not just this, like so many songs on the album are like 2-part.
They've got some pockets, yeah.
I mean, in general, do you think people miscategorize your music or underestimate what you're capable of?
I think for a long time I underestimated what I was capable of. I grew up going to art school and I was in a band for 6 years and I have
I
have a big musical background, and for a while I played it safe based on, what was the easiest thing for me to write and what my comfort zone was. And for this time I just wanted to break all those barriers, and it's been really polarizing, but it's really pushed me to just develop more. So
because a lot of black artists have spoken out recently about how they're a bit categorized by the R&B label when quite often their music doesn't fit into that category. Do you feel that that's the case?
I feel really honored to be considered R&B because R&B is a really precious and incredible genre. So I don't dislike being categorized as an R&B artist. It's not like a negative feeling I associate with it. I just also want to be able to explore other things, and if that still centers me as an R&B artist, I'm not upset about it. I just would like to explore, which I do. I don't think that the label of what kind of artist you are stops you from being able to explore. So I'm chilling.
Completely. Well, track 2, Next to You, really beautiful song. And I love how you've used the video and the merch to raise money and awareness for the people of Palestine, Sudan, and Congo. Why was it important for you not just to donate or share links, but to actively work your activism into your album campaign? I
think, well, the music was already done. And to be honest, I keep repeating this over and over again, but like, we're not in it. We're in a generation that finds everything really corny. And I knew nobody was asking me for a We Are the World. Like, people were like, how would you make this song and it has nothing to do with Palestine? And then you put this video out, and I'm like, okay, let's be honest. Y'all don't want that from me. Like, y'all don't actually want that from anyone. I knew that I had a song coming out. The album was already finished. I knew I could put an initiative into it and just use it to turn the lens and turn the light to what people were already giving me light for, and turn it this way to something that needed to have light shed on it. And a music video lasts a lot longer than a statement that I could make on Instagram. I've been yelling on Instagram. I've been yelling on TikTok. I've been yelling on every social media that I possibly have. But a music video is just a staple thing that lasts longer, that more people will see, and that my fans would be able to replay because they're attracted to the music first. So in my opinion, I think it's a way for artists to make anything an important statement, is just attach it to what people already love you for, because it doesn't feel like this forced or out of your own nature, type of thing. Just pair it with what you already got going on. And in my opinion, if you really listen to the lyrics of the song, it is a freedom song. It is a revolutionary song. It is a song that is about fighting for what you believe in. And
protection.
It's a big protection, big love song.
You sort of remind me of other artists like you and No Name. People like that have really been speaking about issues. Yeah, I have so much respect for No Name, yeah. And a lot of people have sort of credited you with helping other artists speak out about these issues.
I've been bullying. I'm so sorry. I've been being so mean.
No, but I think like regardless, just seeing you speak out and be so confident and not second guess yourself has helped other artists actually just use their platforms in different ways.
I mean, I'm gonna just give all the credit to all the organizers and the people who have been on the ground, yelling at people like us for so long, just begging for our help and just like, asking us who have the followers that they don't have and the views that they can't garner to just turn the light to what they're doing. So I take no credit, and I give all of it to the people on the ground who've been doing the work for years.
Yeah. Well, track 3, Slightly Different, After Hours, my song of the summer. And I'm so glad that you released this, because even now I think people still don't realize what an incredible dancer you are. And
thank you.
There's been like a lot of tweets to that effect. Did you want to showcase that with this song?
Yeah, honestly, I miss dancing. I stopped for a while because I'm very like whatever the vibe of the current album is like really where I'm at with it in life. My last album, it just wasn't dancey. Like I just wasn't feeling that way, and the music wasn't that way. And then I went on tour, was like, oh, I kind of missed this. So when I make the next one, I'm gonna have to remember that that's what I want to do. And so I made this whole album purposely to tour it. So there's a lot of like things that were specifically for a live sound, and then specifically to have fun performing.
Well, like Nina Sky, Move Your Body, After Hours will like just immediately get people straight to the dance floor.
Oh yeah, nah, they do the TikTok dance and everything. It's great.
Well, you've also said that, like you just mentioned, that you made this album to tour. Were there any tours in particular that inspired you to make more up-tempo music?
I looked at a lot of like rock tours, honestly, like the passion and how a band performs together, and like how you feel like the music just gets through their whole body. Also, like I watched a lot of Prince performances, I watched David Bowie performances, I watched Freddie Mercury performances, and just really saw how like music completely overtook them as musicians, and like how different that feeling was, being able to perform something that was pretty unorthodox, and they almost became characters versus it just being this like just homie that's on stage. So I really wanted to like kind of get a little bit into that world and play in that way.
This is going to be like your rock star tour.
Definitely. This is my rock star album for sure.
Well, is there any like live show you've been to recently that just took your breath away?
Renaissance. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I hate concerts.
Okay.
That's just because I'm really socially awkward and anxious, and like I'm like, wow, there's so many people here, and like it's a lot going on, and the music's really loud, and I have like sensory issues, and I'm like I don't know where to sit or if I should stand or like what I should do. Then I just get drunk because I don't know what else to do, and now I'm just drunk at the show, and I don't know what's going on. But Renaissance, I got my absolute mind blown. Like, I think I stood on my jaw just open the whole time, literally clutching my shirt. Like, there's no way this person is real. So,
well, and you've worked with Darius, who obviously was a dancer on the Renaissance tour as well.
Yeah. He's been the funnest. And honestly, he kicked After Hours off in a real way. So I owe him the world. Completely.
Well, track 4, I love how you've taken Christina Aguilera's What a Girl Wants and flipped it into a lesbian sex jam. How did you come up with that idea?
Honestly, that's what a girl wants. That's self-explanatory. So I just listed off all the things I want. I don't know.
I want a bitch that look bad when she wake up, dripping like water, she tastes good.
Period, friend. I'm talking that shit. Yeah.
Now, obviously, Christina Aguilera, a huge star. What are your top 3 Christina Aguilera songs?
Oh, okay. Genie in a Bottle. I know that's basic, but you have to see it live. I seen it live at her Vegas show. That was really cool. I used to sing I Am Beautiful a lot.
With Pop Life?
With my band back in the day. We covered that song. Dang, what's the one where, the really sad one where she's in the video, she's in like the circus. It was her circus era. I think so. But if it's not that one, then I'm maybe going to say Dirty. I don't know. She got some jams. We be sleep on her effect in the pop world, honestly.
Mm-hmm. And she's doing Vegas now, isn't she? So.
Yeah, and she do the same exact runs. Like, she can still do it just perfectly the same. It sounds exactly the same as when she first did the runs. Like, she has not lost it at all.
Well, your vocals on this album are insane too.
Thank you.
Have you felt yourself develop as a vocalist?
Definitely. I think we had so much fun, like, really re-singing the songs over and over again and, like, getting them to the point where we felt like it was a strong vocal performance. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just getting older. Like, my voice is changing. I don't sound the same as when I was 19, dropping mixtapes or smoking weed. And so my voice sounded really different. But, like, yeah, I would hope I just keep developing. That's the goal.
Well, talking of, like, a vocal showcase, track 5, Crash, I think it's really hard to capture how love feels in a song without being corny. But there's a lot of nuance to this song that makes it feel like a classic love song. How do you write a love song without making it corny?
It's funny because I really am a head ass in love. Like, I really am. I'm corny. But I think just being honest about the imperfection of how love is, or how 2 imperfect people can create a really solid love, I think is the trick to not being corny. But I do have some really cheesy love songs that people really do love, and they're peak corny. And sometimes I throw little cuss words in there and make it spicy. you know, decornify it.
But things like the put down your pride lyric, I feel like that's a big thing in a relationship that doesn't always get explored.
Yeah, and the you kiss me like you want to make love to all my demons. You gotta be honest here. You know?
Are there any like classic corny love songs that you love?
Oh my God, Lemonade by Jeremy Passion is
Okay.
a classically corny MySpace era ukulele love song. And it was everybody's jam. Like, I think that was all of our MySpace song, at least like my folks. It was like all of our MySpace song. Or when we was in love, it was like smacking the Jeremy Passion on under the photo on MySpace.
We're putting it in the playlist.
For sure.
Track 6, 8. Treat this like some food. 10 minus 2 with you.
Math. Yeah.
Queer math.
The only math I can do.
Now, you've always made exquisite sex jams, and I love how direct your lyrics
Exquisite
are.
sex jams. Quote him.
Put it on the album booklet.
Yeah.
You've also been openly queer forever, but it's now 3 years since you publicly came out as a lesbian. Has that changed how you write about sex?
Yeah, because when I was bi, I was still writing about dudes sometimes. And then once I came out and I had to go on a tour, I ended up changing all the lyrics on stage. So people would be like singing the normal lyrics and I'd still be like, coochie. And they would be like, that's not the song. And I'm like, well, it's my song. So deal with it. It's gay now. But yeah, it is really liberating from my personal experience to know that I don't have to go on tour and change any lyrics. And it can just be what it is. And that the people that it means a lot to hear the pronouns they prefer on music for their gender preference, you know, that it doesn't have to change and that it can just be what it is. And we get to scream those lyrics loud together in a really big room one day full of all of us and just like enjoy being there together.
Because 8 reminds me of like a queer successor to Water. Like,
Yeah, I think so too.
in the same bag.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been singing about queer sex for quite a long time. First Position on Cloud 19.
Yeah, since I was very young, yes.
On the first mixtape. Now, recently you clapped back at someone saying you were sexually confused on Twitter.
Yeah, I think they were just yapping.
How does it feel to have people still question your sexuality and your gender identity?
I mean, people really hate lesbians. Like, I think we really drive people up the wall. It is just so confusing to look the way I do, and I just couldn't possibly want you as a man. It just really grinds their gears. Can't call it. I don't know why y'all want me so bad. There is plenty of women who still like y'all to deal with y'all barking up the wrong tree.
Even if you like men, it doesn't mean that you'd like that
Exactly.
person.
Wow. Super flattering yourself. But I think also people can't fathom that I had a kid. People can't fathom that I have been with men and they've seen that publicly. And I think people really don't understand sexuality and the scope of sexuality. They don't understand comp het. They don't understand the journey of that you could come out some people come out when they're married when they're 40. Like, there's people that come out at all different ages and have had all type of experience that is, you know, shouldn't dictate once they finally figure it out. But luckily, like, all that noise gets drowned out by people who really do understand and really do support me. And, you know, it is what it is. You'll never see me date a man again in my life. So I don't, if that does something for you, bless.
Whap out the violins.
Yeah.
Track 7, Sucia, featuring Jill Scott and Young Miko. Now, from one amazing sex jam to another.
Oh my God, so many sex jams, I know.
How did you get Jill Scott in full nasty girl mode on this song? And did she write that intro herself?
Yeah, she did. Originally, it was the verse, and she was the
Okay.
feature. And then I was like, wow, it's called Sucia, and me and Young Miko are essentially each other in alternate universes. We're both the tatted lesbians of the group. I just thought it would be a crazy cool world collide, a crash, if you will, to put them both on the song. So we essentially like deconstructed Jill's verse and made it an intro. And at first she was like, why would you do that? And I was like, no, hear me out. It's like, it's so cool. And it comes after 8. And it's like this coochie eater anthem. And then you just say, you started off with, I'm nasty? Come on. Hear my vision, Auntie Jill. And she's super incredible. And I'm a huge fan. I always have been. You can look, there's tweets from 8 years ago of me being like, Jill Scott's my favorite rapper and Jill Scott might be the nastiest person we all know in our life. So to get her in classic, true, freaky frog form, I'm honored.
Yeah, because I feel like the casual fans of Jill who know like Golden don't realize that like on Who Is Jill Scott you've got like Love Rain, Do You Remember?
Crown Royal. It starts and it ends there. That's all I have to say. If you want the prime example, Crown Royal on ice.
She said, who is Jill Scott? And she told us.
She made a song about a vibrator that she didn't say it at all. She just said, ying, 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 ying. Come on. Okay, well, we're gonna bring it back to the PG-ness. Except you said exquisite sex banger, so it's on you, really.
This is also a great queer female collab. Obviously, we talked about, you just mentioned Young Miko. I mean, your Touch Me remix with Victoria Monet, that is to do a remix on a song that's about you. That is so baller.
Sometimes you got sprinkle some real life in there. True stories.
Track 8, Better Not. Am I right in thinking that Better Not is a song about open relationships, or?
It's a situationship song of like, dang, I really rock with you, and I also can't be mad at anything you're doing because you're technically not mine, but also don't ever do no shit like that again in your life.
Do situationships work?
I think it depends on what you guys have worked out. I think everything, we're all adults. I think that everything can be figured out. And I like to just tell people all the time, it's your world, live in it and tailor it to you. So if two adults can communicate whatever the bounds are of the situation is, and y'all can honor that and have really healthy communication and be honest, then like it's going to be what it's going to be. But be you for real, because if you try to do some shit that doesn't fit you, then you're going to end up wiggling hard, and that sucks.
And we've talked about how diverse this album is. This is a country song.
It didn't start as that. It was a really crazy suggestion that everybody just let me rock with, honestly. It was an interlude. I had a couple clicks and like a little guitar loop. And I was like, hear me out, y'all. We should produce it for real. And then I should sing it as a country song. And so to get the twang out of my voice was pretty hilarious, because I was really in there pretending I had a banjo. And like I was on somebody's porch with the wheat, hanging out my mouth.
Can we get the country remix?
I mean, it's pretty country. I'm not gonna lie. I did hit a couple country artists to be on it. It wasn't able to happen. But I wanted to go full blown country music awards. That was the plan. I was like, take me there. I want to be in my hat and my boots. Like, let's get it.
Well, how does it feel at the moment seeing so many different artists, particularly black artists, like succeed in country music at the moment?
I mean, country music is black. That's the original, and I think that's what Cowboy Carter showed everybody, and especially highlighting all these black country artists that people otherwise weren't aware of, that were birthed in the genre. They didn't just start doing country. It's just proof that the culture of all these different styles of music in America was started by black people, and they're inherently black genres, and it's really cool to see it breaking those molds of what people consider to be white people shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Taking it back.
Yeah. Track
9, Tears. Now, the production on this song, I mean on the whole album, but this song is next level.
Yeah, I think the production ate me up, honestly. Yeah, that's a compliment. I actually fully enjoy it. It's a full song.
When you go into the life of the party section at the end,
the little breakdown.
So good.
That was actually a completely different song, and we took that and put it into Tears because it fit, and we weren't going to use the other song, so we just kept like fusing these songs together, basically.
Well, because I was going to ask, because lyrically it's quite raw as a song. Did it start out as a club banger, or did?
Yeah, that one definitely started as a club banger, but that third verse wasn't there. And then I was like, what could go really cool right here? That one part from that other thing that we really like, but we're not using it. So let's just tailor and doctor it. And we played Operation a lot on this album. Okay. Yeah, we were in our mad surgeon bag.
Amazing. And this is a collab with Omar Lay.
Yeah.
Another collab fans are living for at the moment is the verse you've posted on Jordan Editunji's Kehlani on TikTok. Yeah. How does it feel to have another artist write a hit song about how hot and desirable you are?
I think he's fucking smart. I think he knows that I'm a TikTok troll and that I be catching everything. And he was like, who's going to respond to me? That one. I know she's going to love it about herself. So let's just give it to her. And I told him that too. I was like, yeah, you knew I was going to respond for sure. But he's incredible, and he's got more bangers in the tuck, and he just signed a deal, and he's about to get it cracking. So that's one of y'all own, actually. So y'all support him and make sure he goes up, because I think he's about to have a crazy run, like a real crazy one.
Well, and not to put Jordan on blast, but and I feel like a lot of us in the UK mispronounce her name. We say Kehlani instead of Kehlani.
Oh my God, I just be letting y'all rock for real. Also, a lot of America says Kehlani, but I was thinking of getting online and literally saying I really have something to explain to you guys. It's really deep and personal to me, but you guys all mispronounce my name. It's Kehlani.
Have we got it clearly to camera?
But you guys get a pass. You have an accent. But okay. Like when I'm home and I'm going to radio stations in America and they're like Kehlani, I'm just like, I don't have the heart to, correct it every single time.
We're 7 projects in. Come on.
Come on now. How do we get here? It's okay. My grandpa calls me Kehlani.
Track 10, Vegas. Now, there's an entire Vegas theme running throughout the whole album.
Yeah.
How did that city inspire this song and the album as a whole?
You know, Vegas is a really chaotic, juxtaposed little place. It's like a really bright, crazy city in the middle of this really big desert. Like, you don't see it until you see it. And, like, you're on the road, and it's, like, these crazy lights in the middle of this whole thing. There's, like, weddings, and there's strippers, and there's, like, really rich shit. But there's also, like, really eerie, like, creepy, completely, like, opposite shit going on. And I kind of feel like it's me in city form. Like, just the amounts of extreme oppositions and things that are going on that just don't make sense but perfectly make sense. I kind of was like, man, I relate. I honestly feel this way. And I always would be like, I'm a whore for Vegas. Like, I don't know what it is. I get there and I can feel my blood start to change. Like, I start driving into the city and I'm like, let's go. Like, my eyes get all big and I'm like, whatever's about to happen is about to be nuts. So, I don't know. I just felt like it was the perfect place to encapsulate what this album felt like. And I just couldn't believe we didn't have a song called Vegas yet. Especially it not actually being about Vegas, but just saying what happens here stays here. It's just like Vegas. Cause I love that cheeky line. It's super sneaky. I like it.
Are you good at gambling?
Absolutely not. I'm horrible at anything involving numbers. So once it gets to numbers, because I have dyscalculia. Dyscalculia, yeah. Like, once numbers enter the chat, I actually get so much anxiety. I can't do it. Can't barely count. So, like.
Except for 10 minus 2.
Exactly. And someone had to help me with that.
Track 11, Deep. In Deep, you reference your whole journey. Like, I love the lyric, came from sleeping on a mattress that's deep, came from sleeping on the concrete. You've now released 7 incredible projects. You've helped shape modern R&B, and so many artists cite you as a reference. Do you feel like you've made it?
Yeah, I felt like I made it a long time ago when I accomplished the goals that I could have like, when I was a kid, I wasn't dreaming about accolades. I was like, man, I want to help my family. I want to have a stable life. I want to have things I didn't have, like stability and access to, like, just the everyday regular things. Like, I want to have my needs met. And as soon as I have my needs met and my family had their needs met, I definitely made it. I've never been one to, like, think about much of the other fluff, just because I just feel like I'm just too aware of how much everything doesn't mean as much as I thought it did. So the second I retired my mom, and I was able to be the person that anybody in my family could call when they, like, can't pay the rent, or, like, they need help with medical bills, or, like, anything like that goes on, I'm able to just be like, no questions asked, you got it. Like, that was when I made it.
You certainly have made it. And, like, to come from, like, America's Got Talent with Pop Life. What was that experience like that?
I was little, man. I was 16. I went from high school. I literally left class and we went and did a TV competition show. And so coming back from being season finalist on a national television competition to coming back to high school was definitely the strangest thing in my life. Everybody was like, what are you doing back here? Aren't you supposed to be in Hollywood right now doing that? And I'm like, bruh, I just got to graduate, honestly. Like, so it was definitely an experience, but it definitely shaped everything I know about performing, and the band taught me how to perform and taught me how to exist and want to make music in this way. So. And
look at you now, not in high school. Also, your daughter Adea is on this song. Is she often in the studio with you?
She's in the studio with me a lot, and she has perfect pitch, and it's really interesting because, like, she'll hear something once and then is like singing, and every time she sings it, she's in the key of the actual song. So I'm starting to be like, oh, you got some freaky genius things going on. But she got music on both sides of her family. Me and her dad are super musical. She just started singing along, and I was like, you can go in there and do it if you want. She was like, all right, let's do it. And she did it, and it was one take, and it was like, so.
Crazy talent.
She killed it. I honestly was gagged. I literally was sitting there like.
How old is she?
She's 5. She was 4 when she did it, so.
Jesus. Talking of Jesus, track 12, Chapel.
Speaking of the Lord.
Chapel is probably the most vulnerable song on the project.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of about wanting to get married, but it's also clear that this person maybe isn't right for you.
Yeah.
How hard is it to accept that someone you love is not right for you?
It's the hardest thing in the world, actually, because love isn't enough. You can actually really love somebody and just not be the connection you need to cultivate or, like, keep cultivating. You could have cultivated something and recognize that that cultivation came from some other kind of attachment or some other kind of, like, we often don't realize how much we would stay creative bonds and friendships and birthing something else together rather than, you know, being in a relationship. And it is the hardest thing in the world because you really want it to work. You want it to work and you want it to make sense so bad. And sometimes it just isn't the most fruitful thing about what two of you have. And so that song is definitely about having all the emotions and the wants to be with that person for life and take it there, and it's still being like, I know we're kind of just wasting time.
So people change, like you have to check in relationships.
Yeah, people change, and also we idealize a lot. We really do. And I know as someone that has different mental health, you know, issues that like that can be a thing for, I have to check myself often if I'm idealizing something or if it's my actual reality. So
well, track 13, Lose My Wife, kind of feels like
flip that script, hon. The tables be turning quickly.
Why did you want to close the album with this song?
Honestly, the whole story of Crash is like this crazy epic weekend trip or however long in Vegas. And that is like that sober moment the next day or the end of the night when you're like, I actually wilded out. And I really got to sit with all of my decisions and I got to sit with my energy. It's not a true story. Like, it's a very trifling verse, but it did not happen to me. No, I did not do some crazy shit and then just tell her, well, I didn't kiss her on the mouth, so be lucky. Like, I just wanted to write a good verse, y'all. Damn. I keep doing interviews and they're like, you're so trifling. They're like, wow, you didn't even kiss her on the mouth? I'm like,
why are you throwing us on strangers?
Yeah, I mean, that's never going to change. There's too much evidence of that online. That's going to happen at this party I'm about to host. So there's that. But honestly, to me, it feels like a campfire, like a sobering campfire, end of the bar, like in the bar, singing in the corner on the jukebox. Like, it's just a good somber ending to what was a really chaotic story. And I didn't want to end on a high. I wanted to end on the like, damn, it's reality kind of moment.
Well, it's really beautiful. I mean, just to end, what do you want fans to take from this album?
Man, I really think this is one of those growing kind of albums. I've seen people be like, now on my 13th listen, I'm obsessed. But at first, I was completely repulsed and I hated it. Yeah, no, but I'm really loving at least the conversation being that it's not the same album. I you know, God forbid 7 projects and I make an album I've already made, or I've just made a slightly elevated version of an album I've already made. I really wanted to pivot. In my head, I was always here, and where I want to be is over there. And to me, this is that turning point where it begins to shape and it goes this way. And I really am excited for people to see it how we intended to make it, which was live and on tour and with a live band and with dancers and on a stage with everything designed for it, because that's really what it was for. And I'm just grateful that people are still rocking with me 7 projects deep, and I'm just happy to be here, honestly.
Well, I mean, it's so exciting, like as a fan from like Cloud 19 and obviously songs like Distraction, to see you explore and expand your sound so much now on this album. Like, it just makes me think, like,
I'm glad you like it.
What else can you do? It's
thank you. I
limitless.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kehlani.
Thanks, y'all.